Alright, here we go with a run that was recorded back in March. And this one's kind of odd because at the time I'd recorded a few different runs in the same pack, and I uploaded one of them to the members only area, and then in the commentary for that video I said to the members to expect an old mouse video in the very near future. And here we are 2 months later and I hadn't uploaded it. So we're finally getting round to it, and this one is a fun concept, I think. The idea behind this was to try and build a pack to guarantee that every single turn you can activate an old mouse toy. Now, if you're not aware, the way old mouse works now is that it will create a random toy at the start of every turn. And the conditions for satisfying each toy are quite different. So some of them will require you to spend a certain amount of gold, to have a jump, or to have a transformation. There's a bunch of different ones. I'm not sure exactly how many, maybe 9 or 10. And yeah, I wanted to build a team whereby we could almost guarantee, I don't think it's possible to completely guarantee it. Maybe someone can prove me wrong in the comments. But I want to try and almost guarantee that we would get the activation on the toy every single turn, no matter which random toy we got. Now, previously it used to be that the toy was randomly generated and you didn't get a choice, but now you actually get a choice between two. So it makes it a lot easier to increase your chances of getting a toy whose condition you can actually satisfy. But it's still a fun little restriction to play around. And at the beginning here we set up with 2 of the tier 1s that really do help for this kind of a challenge. The African Wild Dog and the Iramote Cat. So African Wild Dog is going to give us a jump. Now it's not 100% guaranteed because it could get transformed. But in theory, you could always play multiple jumpers if you really want to make sure that you got that condition fulfilled. Here you can actually see that the Iramote Cat can sometimes fulfill that condition by transforming, but I don't think it would be good to rely on that. So yeah, we need to acquire the old mouse as soon as possible, because the challenge can't really begin until we get one. So here it is. We're not going to get a toy this turn because it's start of turn. So we'll just buy it and then put the seaweed on it. And that's because the transform condition for the toy, which I'm sure we're going to find it sooner or later, is that you need 2 transforms. So Iramote Cat only counts for 1. And having the seaweed on the old mouse gives us another chance at getting a transformation and activating the toy. So here we go, we're going to get our first choice, and it is Red Cape or Pickaxe. So Red Cape is the obvious selection because the African Wild Dog will fulfill that by itself. And then when it jumps, it will cause the toy to break and we get permanent scaling to the whole squad. So the other thing about this is that the more pets that you can scale with each toy, the better. And there are going to be some toys where it's going to be very difficult to achieve that. The ones where it requires a feint, for instance. It would be kind of difficult to get multiple feints without losing any of your pets on your team. Okay, so here we get the choice between Rosebud and the glass shoes. Now the glass shoe, or slipper, if you want to be more fairy tale accurate, that one is basically guaranteed. You can always make it work because you just need to have 3 of your pets faint. But it does mean that you'd only get 2 buffed in the backline. So we get the level up here, and I was kind of fortunate there. I should have taken the easy option of the faint toy, but instead I went for the greedy one on the level ups. Now with the level ups, you can actually guarantee that one as well if you play Gingerbread. Now I don't know if I had Gingerbread in this pack. I wasn't paying attention to the tier 3 foods. But Gingerbread is before battle, so it would take a pretty bizarre occurrence for those not to go off. Although we know that that is also possible as well from recent events. with this being back in March, we're obviously playing in a world where the old cashew nut exists as well, I think. So I froze the stoats on the previous turn because I was expecting sooner or later we would get one of these toys that requires you to spend a lot of gold. So buying a stoat and selling it, it only costs you 1 gold overall, but it counts as 3 gold for the harp. So I think we need to do some more buy selling here to trigger the toy. Yeah, there we go. Now when it breaks you don't get a new toy, obviously. If you wanted to do that, you would have to have Flying Squirrel, but having the Flying Squirrel would then keep the toy instead of regenerating a new one every turn, which is why we don't have it here. And I think this person's about to get a very nice spawn from their eagle. Yep, Orca into Nessie, which ends up giving us a tie. They were actually on 1 heart there and we were still on 5. So we get the red cape again, which is perfect. Imagine if we just got red cape every single turn. I think it would probably make this challenge a bit too easy. But we might as well go for the level 3 old mouse as well. Must be fairly uncommon for me to have old mouse at level 3. I'm sure I've had it before, but I think I would probably have just ended up transforming it into something else near the end. So pretty easy one here. Was that actually level 3 zombie cricket they had there? I was too slow reacting to that particular battle. So this time we take the Rosebud again, which is the level up toy. Now we need to roll down for either a chocolate or a clownfish. We don't have enough gold to get the African wild dog level up. Then we get the blobfish, so this means we can actually have a level up in battle, and it will work. I think here I really should have played the clownfish third. Both to counter eggplant, but also because then we would have the old mouse closer to the front and get more of a benefit from the seaweed. But we win anyway because we had the cod roe at the back. And then two friends transformed is perfect. We just have to hope that the old mouse doesn't lose the seaweed. But actually I think what's going to happen here, yeah, we roll the Water of Youth. So actually we can activate the toy now and guarantee that it will go off in battle because of the Iramote cat. I suspect I didn't have Conpeto or some of the other transform foods, but you can definitely increase your odds of fulfilling that condition by having those in the pack. So yeah, Bonobo is going to turn into a blobfish, so we don't need to freeze another one. And then look at this, turn 13, level 3 owl, level 3 hatching chick, and level 3 harpy eagle. Pretty nasty. And they've also got the great one, but the great one actually knocks out the hatching chick, and we get the level 3 old mouse achievement. So let me know in the comments below how you would go about trying to complete this challenge. I think there are quite a lot of different solutions you could go for, and maybe you could make it a bit tougher by denying yourself the tier 1 pets.